For my next clean and press and resubmit project, we've got this book right here, Amazing Spider-Man number 238. I am extremely excited about this book, and after I get it out of the case here, you'll see why. It is currently a 6.5, but I almost know that we can get that grade much, much, much higher than that because all of the defects on this book are mostly non-color breaking. So let me get the thing out of the slab, we'll take a closer look and see if I'm correct, and then we'll make a plan and we'll tackle this project. Okay, so we got the book out of the case here. So the CGC notes on this one said that there were some bends, like some thumb impressions and like a big bend or something somewhere on the book. Maybe it just said cover. But I'm just looking at this and you can definitely see where the thumbs, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera very well, but you can definitely see there's some thumb impressions all over this book. And the good news is I don't see any color breaks on those thumb impressions. The only color breaks I see are right here and here on the spine and here and here. So it looks like, it looks like an 8.5 or a 9.0 spine. So that's the good news. So let's turn this book over, because I have a feeling that the back of this book is where it's at. Okay, and immediately you can see it. There is a large bend right across here. Like this book has been folded this way at some point. There is a slight little bit of color break right here, but it doesn't extend all the way across. It's just one little small area, maybe 1/4 of an inch, which is allowable and as high as, say, a 9. I have to look at my chart, but something like a 9.2 or even a 4 can have that much. So what I'm looking at here, there is some color rub up here, but that actually might be some kind of substance that can be cleaned off. Like, what is that up there? Boogers? I don't know what that is, but hopefully I can clean that up. And but I think I can fix this bend completely. Let's see if it extends into the book. I don't think it extends into the book. I think it's just the cover. That's good news, because it's a lot harder to get it into the book than, yeah. And right here we got the infamous tattoos. Now I have a 9.6 copy of this book. And why don't we just see if the tattoos are in this thing? Hold it up to the light here. I think I already saw them. Right there. You can see those tattoos in there. And my 9.6 is over here on the wall, and I thought it had the tattoos because I bought that thing off the stand, and I never took the tattoos out. So I don't know why it doesn't have tattoos, but that's pretty annoying. I almost want to crack the thing thinking there's tattoos on there, because I didn't even think about it. This was like over a year ago, and it wasn't even on my radar to check. So I'm almost curious to see, did CGC mess that up? Anyway, so this one has the tattoos. That's cool. So we're not going to have to worry about getting that green label. But yeah, I think, you know what? I almost want to do an experiment on this book. I think I could quick press this thing. I think I could put some moisture in the right spots, quick press this thing, and I think we get an 8.5. I really do on this book right here. We're at 6.5 right now. That's a big increase. But obviously anything 7.0 or higher would be amazing on this book. But I'm going to go ahead and just give my preliminary idea of what I think this grade is. I think this book is going to be an 8.5 with an outside chance of even 9.0 and maybe an outside chance of a 9.2. I wouldn't be amazed if this book somehow came back 9.2. But let's see what happens while we're working on it. I might change that. But I'm going to think this is at least an 8.0. I would be amazed if this book does not get 8.0. And 6.5 to 8.0, that is just amazing to me to be able to do that. And that's really what we look for. If you're trying to make a profit on this, which is not the only reason we should do this, but if you're trying to make a profit doing this, finding 6.5s and turning them into 8.5s or 8.0s, there's some big money once you get up to some of the higher end books. We could be talking about thousands of dollars on some books. So maybe we'll get to some books like that eventually, but right now let's work on this high value book. This is not a low value book by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'll run those numbers, and especially once the book comes back. So this is the last one of a 5-book submission that I'm going to be doing. I'll link in the description to all the other videos that I've done, cracking, pressing, cleaning, whitening, all that stuff. And but let's go ahead and just get started. The first step on this is the cleaning process. So let's get to it. So I just wanted to show you something I noticed that I didn't see at first. There is a sun shadow on the inside of the back cover of this book, which is pretty interesting. So I'm going to try and do a heat overlay press to try and smooth that out or get rid of it or at least lighten it. And it doesn't really show through that badly on the front, but you can definitely see it if you lift the page here. So I'm going to do heat overlay press on the inside and outside of the back cover here. And got to be very careful because of the insert and everything. We're going to try that out and see if we can't get rid of that. So we're heating it up for the heat overlay press. It'll be lower heat than a standard press would be and a lot lower pressure. So getting that going, and we'll see what happens after the first pass. Quick update, I decided to spot hop heat overlay press that spot with the sun shadow or dust shadow or whatever it's called on the back on the inside of the cover. And then I went ahead, I just gave it one round of that and it cleaned it up a lot. Then I just stuck it in the light box. I did the back inside page just for an hour. Then I closed it, and then I did the full cover for a full treatment of 3 hours. And you can see it's just popping now. Of course, you can see the little crinkles in it from the moisture, but we'll flatten that out here in a second in the press. But you can see just how white and how much this book pops now. Let's go ahead and take a look at that back cover real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about. Look how good that looks. It's really, really good. But if you just open the inside page, if you remember that little shadow right there? It is gone. And it extended down the top of the cover as well. I didn't notice that before, but I did once I started working on it, and that's gone too. So, and while I was doing the heat overlay press, it basically took care of most of this bend right here. There's just a little bit left right here that I got to address. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the quick press now, and we'll move on to the repair process, which, fixing the spine, looking for any significant issues that need some heat and maybe ball bearing work. I didn't remember seeing a bunch of that on this book, so let's do this quick press and see what we're working with and go from there. Alright, the preliminary press is done here, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got going on. Now these Amazing Spider-Man 238s have the tattoos inside, which is kind of challenging. You have to surround the insert or whatever that holds the tattoo with some cardstock. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I'm hoping it worked out as per the directions from Captain Mike. Came out okay. But we will find out. Kind of really fattened the book up though when I did it that way. So yeah, I hope that's not going to cause any repercussions for our spine. So far it looks good. Yeah, front cover looks excellent. Not really seeing anything on it. Yeah, spine's cleaned up nicely. So yeah, let's flip it over and see what we got on the back. Yeah, that bend is like gone. There's a little bit of color break left from it, but it's like it never existed otherwise. I can't find any hint of it, so that's excellent. We'll have to do a little bit of work on this spine, but not much. That's actually not bad. That's cleaned up a lot. Yeah, overall, I'm thrilled with the way this book looks right now. I'm not going to have to do much more to it. Yeah, probably just work on the spine a little bit. Maybe hit it with some moisture in some key areas. Put it in for the final press. And I think the majority of what was causing this book to be such a low grade was this bend right here. And we've solved that. And we've gotten rid of that dust shadow. Let's go ahead and take a look and just make sure here that's still kosher. Yeah, it's like it never happened. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this book is pretty nice looking right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on the few little repairs we have to do, and we'll get it in the final press. Final press hopefully is done here, and let's look this beauty over, see what we got going on. A little bit nervous always on these because of that insert, the tattoos, but I just follow the guidelines by Captain Mike, and so far so good. Just putting in the extra thick cardstock seems to absorb the impression that could happen, transferring to other pages because of the press. And I did a very light press on these, much lighter than on normal books. I don't want to say much lighter, but probably at least 3 turns with the dial here. Actually more than that, I'd say 5 turns lighter, because I actually did this lighter than the pressure I put on for the hot overlay press, which is lighter pressure as well. So initial impressions, very, very, very nice looking book here. Spine is flat. I don't see any kind of divots. I don't see any bends. I don't see anything going on in this book. This book presents, I would say, like a 9.4 right now. Maybe a 9.2 because this corner isn't perfectly sharp. Somewhere between a 9.2 and 4, though, is the way it presents. I'm not saying it is a 9.4, but it definitely presents that way. And if you remember, this book started as a 6.5. We had this major bend here, and it is completely fixed now. We do have still a color break right here of probably this much, I would say 1/4 inch. So this corner has a little bit of damage to it, but it's not bad. It's fairly sharp. It's got just a little where you could see where a crease was, and there's a little bitty ding right there as well. So yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and think this book minimum is an 8.5, I think. I think I'm being really conservative. If I were grading this book, I would say it was a 9.2. But I'm going to go ahead and, I mean, it's the final press, and I'm going to call it that. We're going to go ahead and ship this book off to CGC. So we're hoping for a really, really good result. And this is the last of the 5 books. So yeah, hopefully in about a month's time, we'll have this book back, and we will know exactly what's going on. Okay, we got this beautiful, amazing Spider-Man 230 back, clean, universal grade, with tattoos, which we had no doubts there. We already knew the tattoos were in there, so no surprises. And yeah, it's great to get this book in a blue label. I already had one in a green, as you know. I probably mentioned that somewhere along the way in this video, but if you didn't know that, I have a 9.6 green version of this. Well, this is just an experimental book. I already have a 9.6 green. I actually like the green. I don't mind it at all. So, you know, unless something crazy happened where I had a higher grade than a 9.6, you know, I'm keeping that one. And that's a childhood book anyway. So I bought this one as a 6.5. And, but it looked like it had so much potential online when I saw it. And I got it at a great price. So it was a little bit more than I wanted to pay for a book at the time, but it was a great deal. I think I paid about $300 for this book at a 6.5, which at the time was a great price. I don't know if it's come down a little bit. I'll run those numbers and put them on the screen once we reveal here. Now, I do know the grade. I did an unboxing video, so you might want to check that out. I put it in the description. And now that this is the last book in this edition, in case it's a spoiler for you, you know, go ahead and let's see this, and then you can go back and watch that unboxing. But yeah, so this is the last one in this series, this first series of 5 books that I bought with a specific purpose of cracking, cleaning, pressing, and resubmitting. So let's see how we did. So this was a 6.5, hoping for an 8.5. Maybe even a 9.0 on an outside chance. So I'm hoping for some crazy jump. And let's just see what happened. Yeah, that's just freaking amazing. I still cannot believe I got a 9.4 in this book. And to go from a 6.5 to a 9.4, that's 7 jumps in grade, 7 bumps. Which anytime you get a 2 bump, you're ecstatic. So yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm definitely going to want to do more of this. You know, that's kind of the goal in this hobby, is for me to get to the point where I'm buying books, improving them, maybe turning a profit and selling, but a lot of times just trying to upgrade the books that I already have in my personal collection and get the highest grade possible and just go for shoot for the stars. You know, I'm getting the highest grades for these 100 or 120 books that I have. They're just favorites of mine that I want to always keep in the personal collection. You know, other books come and go. Personal preference, I grew up in the copper age basically, and it's very copper heavy, my personal collection and what I want to have in my personal collection, which isn't complete yet. I'm still working on it, and the other 4 books in the submission will help fill those gaps quite a bit. So once again, thanks for watching. I still can't believe we went, oh, last thing, it did get off white to white pages, and so that's okay. I mean, it's going to happen. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not going to argue, because 9.4 off-white pages is much better as far as value goes than an 8.5 with white pages. At least I think it is, right? So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.